This is just continuing Day 1, Unit 1 notes. Here is an example where we're going to practice naming from an image. We've got a 3D picture over here. In this 3D picture, I want you to notice we've got this dotted area. That's to help signify that this particular line is not laying in the same plane as this plane Z. It's going up and down and going through the plane. So the dotted part is like behind the plane itself, so it's sort of hidden. If we're going to give two other names for line LN, and you can see it's a line because it has the bar with the two arrows on the ends, you can name it by flipping the letters, and then you don't really have to look at the picture for that one. And then look in the picture, see if there's maybe another letter on that line, and you could use, one of these two letters and that third letter, or this particular line, which is right here, has this italic B here. You could call it line B. You could also say MN, because it does have the letter M as a point on that line, and N is on that line as well. So again, you could pick any two letters off of the line with that are points, and the symbol for a line above it, which is a bar with the two arrows, or you could use the short version, which is that italic lowercase letter. Again, that lowercase letter is not always there, but it's nice when it is. The second one here says, name 3 points that are collinear. So you need to find, if there are going to be 3 of them, you have to see the line actually drawn in the image. And this is the line that we were just talking about in number 1, has 3 points on it. So we're going to use those 3, L, M, and N. Those are collinear points on that line. Number 3, name 4 points that are coplanar. Well, we have this plane drawn right here, and it does have 4 points in it. It has point L, point M, point N, and P. B and Z are not points, so do not list those. So we've got L, M, N, and P. Now we do have one more option here. Anytime you have 2 lines intersecting, they can define a plane. And so we've got this line that I have in orange, and it's intersecting with this line here. And those can create a plane that's going up and down through this other plane. And with those 2 lines, we can find 4 points that would be collinear. Those points would be L, M, and N, and Q. So those would also be coplanar. So that's what this note is saying. There are lines and planes in the figure that are not drawn. So we just defined a plane that was not drawn. Number 4, name 2 additional lines that are contained in the figure but not drawn. So pick really any 2 points that are not currently connected. So like QN, they want us to name a line, so it has to have that line symbol. Could also be like LP or something like that. There are a lot of lines that are not drawn here that we could have named. Number 5, name a plane that would be contained in the figure but it's not drawn. That's this plane that's going up and down. We're going to pick 3 points in that plane to use to name it. And those points that we're naming it with cannot line up, because if they were like L, M, and N, L, M, and N are also in plane Z. So we cannot use those that line up. We need something like LMQ, MNQ, LQN. Anything like that would work. So I'm just going to give one example, LQN. Oops, got to restart my computer. Not right now. So LQN. Example B, give another name for segment AD. So notice you have to be able to tell, what does the symbol refer to? It's referring to a segment. You can rename it by switching the order of the letters, but that's all that you can do to that name. Number 2 here, name all of the rays with endpoint F. There are 4 rays in this image that can begin at letter F, FA, FB, FC, FD. Gotta have my ray symbol. Be sure that you put the arrow on the end because you're naming a ray. Name 2 pairs of opposite rays. Remember that opposite rays create a straight line when you put them together, and they have to have 3 dots on them to have a pair of opposite rays. So this line's going to be one pair for us, and then this line is going to create the other pair. So you have to start at the middle and go outward from there. So FA would be paired up with FD, using that ray symbol above it again, trying to use the ray symbol. FB and FC would be the other pair. Are CF and CB the same rays? Well, let me clean this up and let's see. Remember that a ray starts in a location and continues. So CF starting at C going to F and continuing versus CB going from C to B and continuing. Since the ray is going to keep on going, these will actually be the same ray. So the answer to that part is yes, because they start at the same point and go in the same direction. As far as the second part of this question, are FC and BC the same? Well, you can tell by the name that they do not begin in the same place, so right away you know that they're not the same, but let's look in the picture anyways. So FC is like that, BC is like this. They do have some overlap, but BC began in a different location than FC, so they are not exactly the same ray. So the answer to that part is no, because they have different starting points. So sketching. Sketch a plane and a line that intersect the plane at more than one point. So we want to have a plane, so we sketch a parallelogram, and a line that intersects it at more than one point. That just means that the line is inside of the plane, so there will be no dotted parts of this line. A line requires 2 points, so put 2 points on it. A plane requires 3, so add a third in this plane that's not on the line. That way we have a 3 that make a plane and 2 that make a line inside of that plane. Underneath here it says add another line to the above sketch that intersects the line and the plane at a point. So we want to intersect the line that's here, and we want to intersect the plane at only one point. So I'm going to add a line that's going through A, and you can tell that it's behind or going underneath there because I'm using dotted area there, and then continue it here and put a point on this line that's not inside of that plane. And so I'm going to call that D down there. So this would be like line AD. It goes through point A inside of that plane. So it intersects the plane in one spot, it intersects that line in one spot. Now underneath here it says sketch a new plane with 2 different lines, line P and Q, that intersect the plane at different points. So they're intersecting the plane at points that are going to go through it like the blue line, and they're not going to be inside of the plane like the other line. So just throw a plane on there. We just want to go through the plane in different points, and they gave us shortcut names for these lines. This is line P. I'm going to put 2 points on there because it should still have 2 points on it. And the other line, line Q, is going to intersect the plane at a different point, and so calling that Q and adding some points on there, X and Y. And now I'm going to throw another point inside the plane because I want the plane to have 3 points. So it has A and X, and we've already got, just going to add a C. I don't think I used C yet. So there we have 2 lines that intersect the plane at different individual points, and we named them P and Q like they said. We made sure each line had 2 points on it. The plane has 3 points in it. Following our rules there. How to sketch 2 planes intersecting. Draw one plane as if you're facing it. Draw the line of intersection horizontally through the plane. Draw a second plane that goes through the dots on the intersection. I'm going to continue this part in another video because the bell is about to ring for first period. So I'm going to end this video.